What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers are currently searching and in the market for a center. JJ Redick, Rob Pelinka, everybody's talked about how badly the Lakers need a center. All of you, myself, many others have all talked about how badly the Lakers need a center. And there are very few options on the market, unfortunately. Right? It's not really a great time for the center market. You do have a couple options, right? You have like Clint Capella. But problem is he's $20 million, so you got to go and give up $20 million in salary. I did a video on Charlotte. Now, Charlotte has Mark Williams as well as Nick Richards. Those two guys actually make a lot of sense. Both guys are young enough for now and the future. Both guys make like 5 or less. I think Mark Williams makes 4 and some change, and then Nick Richards makes like 5. We'll just call it 6 because the Lakers have to send out more money than they take on. So two options that are incredibly cheap. Would make a ton of sense in the backup role. Jackson Hayes, I like Jackson Hayes as your third big, right? High energy, motor, run the floor. Now he's been better rebounding and something that he's worked on, but he still just lacks the discipline. He's not great. He's good in the pick and roll because of his athleticism, and he kind of blow by and just kind of once he gets up, right? Pretty much a bucket, but he lacks a lot of the things that the Lakers need, particularly the size or the girth of a center, right? He's got the 7 feet. We just need him to tack on another 40 pounds and we'd be in good shape. But outside of that, you have like Mitchell Robinson, but he's out till at least January, maybe even longer. Robert Williams, he's got a thumb injury, like he's out for who knows how long. You kind of go down the line, it's like everybody that's available is either hurt or don't make sense or teams aren't really having them be available, right? It's a tough market. But there is one player that we do know is available that I've talked about heavily, and that is Walker Kessler. And the Lakers need to push hard, in my opinion, for Walker Kessler. Hard. Right? Like Walker Kessler, he fits all the criteria. He's incredibly cheap. As far as like contract wise, what we'd have to send out compared to, like I said, a Clint Capella, where I don't hate the idea of Clint Capella. His $20 million is expiring, right? So it'd be an interesting way to kind of clear salary, but he's kind of like break glass in case of emergency, right? Like let's say you can get nothing done between now and the trade deadline and Clint Capella is still sitting there, and let's say the Lakers are kind of in that like middle ground spot, and it's just like, it'd be nice to kind of reset next season, then go do that. Outside of that, it's just like, you might as well get Giannis Valanciunas at that point, who I still believe is most likely. Like if I had to hey Tyler, who would you put your money on is the Lakers center by the trade deadline? It's Valanciunas. But Walker Kessler, we know the Knicks the Knicks offered 2 firsts for Valanciunas and were denied. But the Utah Jazz, they want, based on reports, 2 firsts for Walker Kessler. Now, he's not worth 2 firsts. He's just not. It's one of those things where high asking price, and then things start coming down, or you find that balance, you find that medium. If you could get him for a first, I would do that all day. Right? Get rid of the protection on the 27 pick that they own. Right? You don't have it anyway. No use crying over spilled milk. Let it go. Boom. There you go. Lift the protection and then add in, hey, take your pick. Which pick do you want? Boom. There you go. Now you get Walker Kessler. Couple other things to kind of maybe incentivize is you could take on a salary. Now, John Collins, I would stay as far away from as possible. But, John Collins, you might not even have to include a first at that point, right? But I would stay away from John Collins personally. However, Colin Sexton, he's a guy that I would sign me up for, right? Especially if you're planning on trading D'Lo or you are going to trade D'Lo in this type of move, because Colin Sexton still gives you 40% three-point shooting, still play off ball, still play on ball, right? He gives you a lot of similar comps that D'Angelo Russell provides. They have similar salaries, so you could just do like D'Lo and Maxwell Lewis and like Cam Reddish, right? Just to clear off a roster spot, and then bring in like Walker Kessler and bring in Colin Sexton. Boom, there you go. Now you could bring in another guard if you want to. You still have flexibility. You still have a first. You still have Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, plus whatever else, right? So you could still go make other moves if you wanted to make those other moves. Now, the reason I don't mind Colin Sexton is he, on top of giving you a lot of similarities of D'Lo, right? Whoever you think is better, right? Because I've had people argue, well, I like D'Lo better. Yes, but it's not just you're swapping D'Lo for Sexton, right? You're swapping D'Lo for Sexton and Kessler, which is a big need that we have, and a long-term upside trade. Right? Like, I would rather have that and get the long-term upside guy. Plus, you get a guy that does provide a lot of the same things, but he's more athletic. He's better defensively when he's engaged. The problem is getting him regularly engaged. Right? He can kind of be like, you'll see sequences where he looks great defensively and you're like, boom, there you go. And then he'll have like the next 5 plays. It's almost like he just took them off defensively. He's just like, if you can kind of hone him in and have him focus on the defensive side, he gives you the athleticism, point of attack that you need on the defense side. Also applies better rim pressure, push the pace more. Him and LeBron James out in transition would be great to see. I like that. But to me, it's not just, again, getting Colin Sexton for like D'Angelo Russell. You're basically using Sexton as leverage to convince the Utah Jazz to give you Kessler, right? Because it's like, hey, we can give you D'Lo, who's an expiring contract, and we'll take on Sexton, who has an extra year on the deal, and they're very similar. And if D'Lo works for you, you guys can work out a new deal. You can work out a new contract. If not, just let him fall off the books and you cleared off some salary, right? Like, it's a win-win for all sides. And add that to, hey, we'll give you a first, remove the protection, throw in a second, whatever you want. As long as you have at least a pick swap and another first, I'm good. Right? Because like I said, you'd have Gabe Vincent, you'd have Rui Hachimura, you'd have Jared Vanderbilt if he can't kind of get over his injury bug, whatever, to now go make other moves, go make other trades. I am still, like, my favorite moves this offseason is still go get Walker Kessler and trade for Zack LaVine, and you'd still have probably a first left over. So, because you don't have to trade anything outside of just salary swaps for Zack LaVine. Right? So, go get Zack LaVine. Walker Kessler is easy, right? So, boom, now you get Walker Kessler, now you get Zack LaVine. Maybe have them take on, a player or two extra, so that way you can go and bring in, because you still got to fill out a roster, right? So, that way you can bring in 1 or 2 guys, because you have to clear some salary. And then, boom, there we go. Now we're off to the races. You got Zack LaVine, Walker Kessler to add to Austin Reeves. You can still keep Jared Vanderbilt, right? Max Christie, Dalton Connect, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, right? You have all your needs. You have all your needs solved. Right? At that point, you're in good shape, especially if Zack LaVine can play, 65 plus games this season, which outside of last year he has. He played 77 games, played 67 games. Before that, he played, I think it was 50 games, then 68 games, then I think it was like 62 games, something like that off the top of my head. The guy's averaging basically 65 games a season. That's the new norm, especially for stars, right? Like, that's the new norm. Like, there's a reason the NBA made the cutoff and the threshold 65 games, because it's basically what all these guys are playing, right? So, again, I would be patient with Zack LaVine. Right, be patient and kind of keeping an eye, because you want to make sure, one, he's just coming off surgery, so you want to make sure he's healthy and good. Kind of give it the first 20 or 30 games and see how that looks, right? And then if he looks like, okay, he's looking great, now let's go get him, then boom, go get him. But right now, like, as soon as today, I would love, while you're watching this video, boom, we get news, right? Like, and I could come back on here and be like, dude, we just got Walker Kessler, like, that I hope gets done this time last week, right? Like, Walker Kessler is cheap enough to where you could still go do other things. And you can still do stuff. But here's the thing, right? Because I have had people go, like, I would give up the 2 firsts for Walker Kessler. The problem is Walker Kessler isn't the missing piece, and now the Lakers are a championship contender, right? I like Walker Kessler a ton. Guy give you a double-double, go get you, 3-4 blocks a game. Right? The guy is a monster protecting the paint. Slot him alongside Anthony Davis, looking great. He's shown the ability to spread the floor, a little bit of passing ability, right? He can operate around the rim. The guy is everything that the Lakers are looking for. And he's young enough to have been drafted in this year's draft, and you got him long term, right? With your picks, you're hoping to get a guy like Walker Kessler that you can grow and develop and turn into something, right? Like Walker Kessler is like a better Colin Castleton right now. It's just, I would love to bring in him. Got the upside, he got the potential. He's also younger, so I like it. But you need more than just Walker Kessler. If the Lakers were just like Walker Kessler away from winning a championship, then trade whatever you have to go get him. But that's not the case, right? We need Walker Kessler and something else. Why, like I said, like a Zack LaVine, or if you get Walker Kessler, Jeremy Grant, and Bruce Brown, right? Now I think the Lakers are a contender. But Walker Kessler would be a huge step in the right direction. Walker Kessler would be that first domino to fall, and it would take some pressure, right? Now you can kind of take your time, kind of evaluate, see what you need to do. What else do you need? What else are you looking for? Maybe the Lakers just look great. Now you're top 2-3 seed, Walker Kessler, and you're cooking. It's like, hey, let's be patient. If something develops that we really need, then something develops that we really need, right? Like that. I just think if you can get Kessler, that's the first step towards like, okay, now we're in good shape. Now we're cooking. Now we can kind of see what's next for the Lakers. But yeah, you got to go get Kessler, right? I will not, like Zack LaVine and Walker Kessler are the two guys that any chance that I have to talk about them, I'm going to talk about them. I've said it in every video that I've talked about those two guys in particular, right? If there's even a whisper of Walker Kessler, boom, you can expect the video, because I just putting it out into the ether, putting it out into the world, right? Like, basketball gods hear my prayers, right? Like, I need to see Walker Kessler in a Laker jersey, right? Like, that'd just be huge, because it gives you your center for now and the future. Gives you a guy you can start, gives you a guy that come off the bench. Even after Anthony Davis, even after LeBron James, still have Walker Kessler. You got your future. But however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel with your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think, yes, Walker Kessler, that's the guy you need? That's the guy you got to go get? Do you think like, nah, like, I'd rather have a Clint Capella, or, wait and see what's going on with Mitchell Robinson, or go get a Valanciunas or something? No, I mean, look, like Valanciunas, there is an argument. He's a veteran. He understands what you're going to need. He's more reliable, right? Like, he's been in spots. He's been in the playoffs. He's done those things. Kind of fit the backup role. He's still cheap too at $10 million, and you wouldn't have to give up a first. So you go get Valanciunas and still make other moves, right? Where Walker Kessler, you're probably still having to give up a first. But I just think it solves both problems, right? It helps you now, but it maintains your future. So it's not like, man, we just traded a first, and now it's like when we get that rebuild stage, now we need all these different things that we don't have. It's like, well, now you have your center. And then Max is probably your 2, Connect's probably your 3, right? You got your future, right? Like, you're in good shape. But how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Non-subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.